if you could pick one or two people to go to prison for all their crimes against humanity, against the government, against Trump, against our country, it would be a hard list to go through and only be able to pick one or two, because there is so many people that need to go to jail for their crimes perpetrated on the American people for 10 plus years now, if not longer. And one of my first one that comes to mind for me is like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, those types. But Trump has got an idea how to bite the head of the snake off and kill a lot of this opposition that is going on in this country. And I use the word kill lightly, not meaning its literal meaning for YouTube's sake. But George Soros and Reid Hoffman have been caught. Paperwork, paper trail, transactions, funding Antifa. So what's Trump going to do? He's going to fix it. How do you do that? Well, you throw Rico charges at him. And I've been waiting to hear this for so long. All right, folks, let's listen to what Trump has got to say. Listen real closely here. Reid Hoffman, George Soros, you're on the chopping block ASAP. I love it. I'm ready. I was ready for this to happen 6 months ago.
Paid people. This is organized. They're committing acts of political terrorism on American soil. And it's time we had a government that looked out for the American people rather than the people who are committing violence against the American people.
When you go out to Portland and you see what's happening in Portland, this is like nobody's ever seen anything like it. Every night, and this has gone on for years. They just burn the place down, and you know the shop owners, most of them have left, but the few shops that are open, they just use plywood and just like 3/4 inch plywood. They don't put storefronts because they know it's going to be burned down. These are professional agitators.
Right.
These are bad people, and they're paid a lot of money by rich people, some of whom we know. I'm sure I know some. I don't. If I knew, I wouldn't associate, because I'll be in trouble, because Pam will say, "Why are you associating with this person?" But I will tell you that these are bad people, and they're paying a lot of money, millions of dollars. But take a look at Portland sometime. These are crazy people, and they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. And on my list of things that I want to do before we finish up with the cities, because I think we're going to whip the cities back into shape, and we have to. We cannot let our cities, and that's a small example, but it's the most violent example. It's every night, and they've done it for years. You'd think maybe at some point they made their point, and what are they doing? But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland that are doing that. They're professional agitators and anarchists. They're actually anarchists, yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you defend? Let's see you defend them, Jeff.
No, I'm not defending anyone. I just want, so that we can just explain this in our stories. Could you name a couple?
You don't explain it right, though, Jeff. Go ahead. Let's go. Maybe let's give you another chance. Go ahead.
Antifa, Soros. What names are we talking about?
Well, Soros is a name certainly that I keep hearing. I don't know, but Soros is a name that I hear. I hear a lot of different names. I hear names of some pretty rich people that are radical left people. Maybe I hear about a guy named Reid Hoffman. Somebody's a pretty rich guy, I guess, and I hear about him. I don't know. Maybe could be him. Could be a lot of people. We hear the same names, but they're bad, and we're going to find out. And if they are funding these things, they're going to have some problems, because they're agitators and they're anarchists.
They're going to have some problems. Sounds like we need to take George Soros, Mr. Reid Hoffman, and dozens of others that are deeply involved in this Democratic apparatus to play fear tactics on people, paying Antifa to promote violence in this country. Trump mentioned two of the big dogs right there, Hoffman and Soros. I'm glad to see he's putting their name out there. Rico charges will be coming for these folks, but that'll be happening a little further down the line when we catch a lot of their henchmen involved in other things like Obama and Hillary Clinton tied into George Soros's funding the illegal immigration. I think that's where we'll get them. I think that's where it's all going to tie together. Maybe even over the 2020 elections. If you stick around, I got some information about the 2020 election as well. Yeah, they're naming names now, folks. It's just a matter of time. We're going to get RICO charges on some of these folks. And I think Trump was trying to be kind of vague, because there is probably active investigations going on involving a lot of people. So it's kind of really hard to say much about them at this point without breaking your code of ethics when it comes to court cases and liability of getting a case thrown out. So here it is. The FBI declassified documents by Kash Patel confirms that Xi Jinping interfered in the 2020 election with a massive amount of counterfeit ballots and driver's licenses. And Christopher Wray covered it up. Now, I know you remember a couple months ago there was a report out that there were several foreign nationals here, mostly from China and stuff, that had fake identifications. And they had found, I think Kristi Noem, or maybe it was Kristi Noem, was talking, maybe it was Pam Bondi, was talking about how we had all these counterfeit identifications. What would they be used for? Well, cashing Social Security checks, voting, becoming pretending to be a citizen, getting a job, getting that free Social Security money, and a dozen other things. It was their access. Well, this here is Joe Hoff of the Gateway Pundit. A really great guy. Just love the content over there. But he lays it out here in about 3 minutes. What the heck happened to the 2020? Who all was involved and how it went down. And it is a bombshell. Check it out.
And then we had the creeps, as I write about in my third book on the Steele. The creeps come in and they start covering it up. And no group, well, look at me, FBI, no group was as corrupt as you. Nobody. I'm challenging you, FBI. This is Merrick Garland, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's FBI and DOJ. Christopher Wray, you guys are liars, and you know it. You covered up for the crimes in 2020. And here's the bomb. I wrote a piece last night at joehoff.com saying, hey, get ready, we're going to drop a bomb on this show today. Here's the bomb. Our FBI is corrupt beyond belief, and they covered up massive crimes across the country, but especially in Georgia. They're complicit with these crimes. How can I say that? Because they came in and they allowed these lies to go forward. They did not investigate. They could not have investigated because the evidence is there. We have the evidence, FBI. We have the evidence of material crimes that were committed in Georgia after the election of 2020. Not only did we have video evidence that Rudy Giuliani released after the election, which from a professional auditor's perspective, I've done 200-300 audits around the world. I've presented to audit committees around the world. I've never seen anything so broken. If I would have walked into an audit committee and said, hey, we've got the evidence, it's right here on video, look at this, they would have said, fire those people right away. Fire them. And anybody who hired them, get rid of them. But our FBI stood up behind them and backed them up. And Joe Biden's giving these people awards. This is outrageous. Not only do we have video evidence, we have much, much more. So if something happens to me by this corrupt FBI, I want people to know we've got the evidence. We've got it. More than just video. We've got the evidence. We've got it. They know it. We've got it. We're going to drop this bomb piece by piece on these animals because we got it. Damn you, FBI, and damn you, DOJ, and damn you, Biden administration, and you criminals who stole this election, and Raffensperger and Kemp, all you guys, damn you for not standing up for the truth.
That's right.
We got the evidence. We got it. It's more than video. The video was enough. We've got more. We want you to know that. We want you to know it. Sit on that, FBI. Sit on that. This is...
Now, folks, I want to read you a little bit of this excerpt here. It says, here it is. The FBI declassified documents that Kash Patel confirms that Xi Jinping interfered in the 2020 election with massive amounts of counterfeit ballots and driver's licenses, and Christopher Wray covered up. Xi Jinping produced a large number of counterfeit ballots, driver's licenses that were secretly exported to the United States. These fraudulent driver's licenses would have allowed tens of thousands of non-citizen Chinese students and immigrants to vote, including people here on visas. Despite Customs and Border Protection interception of these 20,000 of these fake IDs destined for battleground states, Christopher Wray buried the evidence and ordered agents to delete the intelligence report. So busted. FBI agents who wanted to investigate tips were either removed from the Bureau or forced to investigate January 6th protesters instead. Here it is, a very, very angry Joe Ha feels vindicated, shredding Christopher Wray piece by piece for covering up the crimes of the 2020 across the country, especially in Georgia and Michigan. Oh yeah, we seen what happened. We had it on video what happened in Georgia and in at the TCF Center as well. Look at me, FBI. No group are as corrupt as you. Nobody. Damn you, he says. Damn you. And the Biden administration. A little feeling behind that one, and we all feel that way. We are just hoping that before Trump's administration is over, not only do we fix elections so they can't do us like this ever again, but we hold those accountable that thought they could get away with this when the evidence is available. Why is it Kash Patel investigating Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, Stacey the Tank Abrams? These folks were in on this ballot harvesting, the whole 9 yards, fractal voting. They were in on it. Suing people to shut their mouth about Dominion. We know what happened, folks. Hopefully, we're going to get the FBI doing the right thing and picking this case up at one point. I know they're very busy at the moment with the other 150 cases they got going. But before 2026 midterms, we need to let the entire world know, with prosecutions and indictments and incarceration of bad actors, when we show the world the proof how they stole the 2020, because a lot of us already know. But it would be nice to see CNN be forced to cover why so many people are going to jail behind screwing with elections. Now, if Xi Jinping's document, Chinese Communist Party's document, proves they interfered in the 2020 election, it wasn't Russian interference. It wasn't Russia collusion. It was a Russia hoax. Russia collusion hoax. Who really interfered in the 2020 election? Who do you think? It was Xi Jinping. It was probably Venezuela. It was all these people that were flooding our country with the things we don't want here, including illegals and illegal criminals. The fentanyl, all this stuff plays hand in hand with trying to destroy our country from inside out, and it just makes me believe every bit of this is true, not just the election, but Xi Jinping would definitely spend money to help corrupt our election process. Him and Biden's good buddies, remember? His son Hunter done been there so many times, he got frequent flyer miles. This is breaking a jaw-dropping revolution. New story, folks. Secretary Brooke Rollins found 5,000 dead people getting snapped and 500,000 people getting snapped 2 times under the same name. Damn. So then people were doubling up. And that's just what we have confirmed so far. So this government shutdown, giving us a little bit of time to scrutinize what the heck's going on with the food stamp program, has put a spotlight on it. And thank the Lord. Hopefully they will do like what those did, go through and find all the waste, fraud, and abuse, and cut it out. Stop payments for these people that are getting double dipping on the system.
And 20 other, 20 plus others did not, and we're suing. We're in a litigation right now. But of the 29 that complied, what we have found is staggering. 500,000 people getting benefits 2 times under the same name. 5,000 dead people. 80% of the able-bodied Americans, meaning they can work, they don't have small children at home, they're not taking care of an elderly parent, they can work and they choose not to work, of course, because they're getting significant benefits from the taxpayer. So this light, Laura, that has now been shined on what is perhaps one of the most corrupt, dysfunctional programs in American history, that we are working now. Very big announcements coming next week on this. We are cracking down. We now have a plan to fix it, and we're really, really excited about doing that for the American people.
So this has been going on for many years. I mean, I think I covered this on the radio.
And 20 other,
She said next week we're going to start getting into this, exposing the rampant fraud, cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, and hopefully it'll be broadcast on every news station out there as the amount of waste, fraud, and abuse, because right now we only have 29 states that cooperated with the information, meaning we got 21 states that are still, we got to squeeze blood out of a turnip to get them to give up their information. But when they do, when the information is eventually obtained one way or another, the number's going to grow. It's going to be twice as big. Literally only a little over half the United States states were cooperative. What are we going to find out when the other 21 come on board? Those are the ones that are hiding the stuff. California, New York, Missouri, a lot of these, Illinois, a lot of these states that are just bad business going on. And they're about to get caught. When they refuse to cooperate, that's usually a telltale sign that shit didn't go right. Lots of exposure today, folks. Lots of stuff going on, including Hillary Clinton is on the hot seat behind the Jeffrey Epstein emails. One of the many people that got Epstein, I guess is the best way to put it. One of the guys that unalived himself, shot himself with a gun. He's one of the 60-something people on the Clinton body count list. Turns out to be one of Hillary Clinton's. I guess that was her beau. It's confirmed that one of the Jeffrey Epstein's emails involved a conversation about Hillary Clinton shagging with one of her staffers, who is part of the White House Council. And then the guy unalives himself not long afterward. Kind of strange how everybody in the Clinton inner circle, especially people involved in the Arkansas part of the Clinton inner circle, those are the ones that got... This guy was from Arkansas. He wasn't just another pretty face that Hillary Clinton was doing the nasty with. This guy was from Arkansas. He knew extensively about what the Clintons were doing from Arkansas all the way into the White House. And then mysteriously, the guy decides one day that he needs lead poisoning. And there's a lot of weird factors about that one, along with the other 62 body counts. And one of the things was they never found the bullet that obviously went through his head. They never found a lot of the circumstantial evidence that you would find on a normal suicide scene. Just weird details. We won't get into that right now, but probably more about that before the weekend's out, because there will be more coming out about this, absolutely, about the Clinton scheme. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and, let's jump on that. It says, breaking, Jeffrey Epstein claimed Hillary Clinton was romantically involved with former White House counsel Vince Foster. Foster later died of suicide. He got lead poisoning, folks. Self-inflicted lead poisoning is what they're calling it. Now this here I thought was beautiful. Just awesome. So Donald Trump just took a blowtorch to Hillary Clinton this morning, says Laura Loomer. Look what he just posted on Truth Social. Isn't it weird how so many people who surround the Clintons have been found unalived? Suicidal? I mean, I'm sure Hillary and Bill were probably hard to tolerate, but I can't imagine 60 people I can't imagine knowing 60 people that died, much less 60 people that died in mysterious circumstances. Just too weird, folks. We know what happened. Now, Trump just retweeted this. Check it out, check it out.
Remember John F. Kennedy Jr.? He was declared the front-runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997. In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found. Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement. In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails.
And the list goes on, and the list goes on. I cannot tell you how many people have curiosities about what the heck happened to all those people around the Clintons. Well, I can tell you what happened. There was some stuff that went on in Mena, Arkansas, that some people had to be silenced behind. And so that's absolutely what happened, is what I believe. And then it became just a way to do business, I'm guessing, for the Clintons. If we can't pay them off, we can't bribe them, we can just make them disappear. Now, I don't believe Hillary Clinton was actually involved in the crimes of these people unaliving themselves, not directly, but I believe she probably had somebody that worked for her that was probably as influential as anybody you ever didn't want to know. Probably a CIA thing. Now this here is poetic justice. Here is 20 seconds of Eric Bang Bang Swalwell talking about nobody's above the law. Huh.
If you're not going to follow the law, it's time for people to start having consequences. For far too long, we've allowed this president and his underlings to continue to obstruct. And when we lose the rule of law in America, it's not just a concept, it's everything. It allows free markets, free ideas, and a freedom to dream. And we don't want to look like countries that don't have a rule. If you're not going to follow...
Above the law, nobody's above the law, believes in the rule of law. Well, how does Eric Swalwell feel about being a mortgage fraud DOJ referral as of today? Y'all didn't know? That was breaking news earlier today. Eric Swalwell is the next on the list of Democrats that are lying about where they're living, creating mortgage fraud, not living in the state they're claiming to represent. All kinds of behind-the-scene fraud. Mortgage fraud's an easy one to prove. All documented stuff. How many Democrats are guilty of mortgage fraud? We're now looking at the 3rd or 4th case in a month or two of Democrats just lying, cheating, and stealing to benefit.
Breaking just moments ago, Fox can now confirm that California Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell has been criminally referred to the Department of Justice, accused of mortgage fraud.
Yes.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey reporting live on this breaking news on Eric Swalwell from
Nobody's
the North
above the law.
Hey,
Martha, as I was walking up here to do a hit on a different topic, I got a call from an administration official filling us in that Eric Swalwell, the Democratic California congressman, has indeed been referred to the Justice Department by Bill Pulte, who is the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now, because he is accused of making false or misleading statements on a mortgage application. We believe that this pertains to a $1.2 million house that Swalwell has in the Washington, D.C. area. Swalwell has already responded. Part of his very long statement says, as the most vocal critic of Donald Trump over the last decade, and as the only person who still has a surviving lawsuit against him, the only thing I am surprised about is that it took him this long to come after me. Like James Comey and John Bolton, Adam Schiff and Lisa Cook, Letitia James, and the dozens more to come, I refuse to live in fear in what was once the freest country in the world.
I like his statement. He's rattling off the list of all the people that are criminals that he thinks Trump is retaliating against. No, it's Pam Bondi is getting referrals from every direction, from Congress, from individuals, from everybody but Trump. Trump's not referring to anybody for criminal charges. It's not his job. But he has been calling them out. James Comey, John Bolton, Adam Schiff, Lisa Cook, Letitia James, and the dozens more to come. You hear that, folks? Even Swalwell knows dozens more, including the J6 committee. Nancy Pelosi will be on the hot seat for long as well. Her and Benny Thompson and so many others, Adam Schiff. These folks are, their goose is cooked. They just don't know it yet. Says, I refuse to live in fear. What was once a free country, what was once the freest country in the world. Now, sleeping with the enemy is not free. Lying about just about everything you've ever spoken in front of Congress, that's your free will. That's your free speech. We do live in the freest country in the world, Mr. Swalwell. You're lucky not to be in prison for espionage, not even being investigated for banging Fang Fang. You got to pass on that one because the Democrats were running the country at the time. No more passes for you. Mortgage fraud it is. That's all we can get you with at the moment. I'm okay with that. Let's get this ball rolling. I wonder how many Democrats are going to be lumped up into mortgage fraud abuse. And then I wonder how many Democrats are going to catch RICO charges. And how many Democrats are going to catch seditious conspiracy to defraud Trump, to deny Trump his civil liberties. That's what's coming, folks. Coming down the pike. I am ready for these prosecutions to happen. It'll be next year. We're not going to get any handcuffs for Christmas for none of these clowns, I bet you. Just my guess, but I'm thinking in January, February, and March, the subpoenas will fly. The cases will start with James Comey in January, and then it won't be long. It'll be Brennan, it'll be Clapper, it'll be Strzok, it'll be so many different cases are going to be melded together because they were all involved. Now, there's a few of these people that are no longer with us. A few of these people have retired. Some of these people are probably left the country. But truth be known, as deep as the deep state is, we now run the FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA, and the three-lettered agencies. So you can only run so far. You can only hide so long. Hopefully, before it's all said and done, we will extradite George Soros expedite and extradite George Soros from whatever country he's hiding in, bring him here to serve justice for crimes against humanity, including with Mr. Reid Hoffman. And if I had my way, we'd bring Xi Jinping in too for questioning. But it's a little bit of a stretch. That's what I got for you today, folks. Like, subscribe, and share. Devoted Patriots, over and out.